Last week, the NCAA's governing board unanimously voted to allow college athletes to profit from their name, image, and likeness, a move that departs from their long-held standard of amateurism. In reference to the recent change, the chair of the board, Michael Drake, said, "We must embrace change to provide the best possible experience for college athletes. Additional flexibility in this area can and must continue to support college sports as a part of higher education. This modernization for the future is a natural extension of the numerous steps NCAA members have taken in recent years to improve support for student athletes, including full cost of attendance and guaranteed scholarships." I'm here with the Martin Center's president, Jenna Robinson, to discuss what the NCAA's decision to, quote, modernize its rules means for the future of college athletics. So Jenna, this new decision from the NCAA, it's definitely good for athletes who for a long time have wanted to be able to profit from their image and likeness, like in video games, for instance. But there's a concern that this could also lead to the further professionalization of college sports.
Right. It definitely puts money front and center for the students. And I could see that going either way, because in one way, it might encourage them to stay longer at school. Because if they can get money while they're still in school from their name, their image, their likeness, then they won't be driven to go to the draft so soon. On the other hand, though, it's definitely blurring the lines, because now what's really the difference between college sports and professional sports? Obviously, the athletes aren't making as much, but it's still moving closer and closer to, truly being professionalized. So I'm of two minds about it.
Mm-hmm. I suppose that, the athletes are benefiting from this decision, and, we're not going to be able to get rid of sports out of universities altogether, so maybe this is the second best solution?
I think it probably is. As you said, we're not going to be able to have the full divorce of sports and academics that I would love to see, and not ever going to go to a fully European system again, which is what I'd love to see. So in this world that we're in, where colleges and sports have been tied for so long, the questions are, what can we do to kind of tinker around the edges? And so, sure, this helps athletes because it is allowing them to profit from what is theirs and gives them money. A lot of athletes, are low income, and so this can help them out in that way. It also means that for the students who are really only playing during college, that they get something out of it. Because one of the concerns I've had for a long time is that college athletes get these scholarships and it allows them to go to prestigious institutions, but then they're shuffled into classes that are meaningless, and they don't actually go to classes as often as other students, they don't graduate as often as other students, so they're not really benefiting from that scholarship. And so it's good that they're getting something, especially for those who aren't going to move on to the NBA. Maybe they can get a small endorsement locally for something, and that'll really help them out personally. But again, it's not the world I want to be in, but for what we've got, I'll take it.
Just going off what you said about students being low income, that plays into a recent comment from Senator Mitt Romney. He's supportive of the idea, but he also expressed concerns that since students are generally low income, some students might profit more than others. I think he gave the description of some students will be driving around with Ferraris while others will be struggling to make ends meet.
Right. Well, that's already a possibility, because we already have students from very high income families going to colleges that also have basketball teams or football teams. There's no way that this increase in inequality is going to make a meaningful dent in what already happens on college campuses. And I really think it's not the right thing to be concerned about, because if there is a student who is going to be driving a Ferrari on campus because he's getting some kind of endorsement, he's going to go to the NFL or the NBA next season anyway. So that inequality is kind of baked in to the fact that this is an amazingly talented individual. Mm-hmm. And I think that Senator Romney's comments are just off course.
So we're in North Carolina, and one of our senators, Richard Burr, recently wrote a tweet about taxing the scholarships of student athletes who, I believe, quote, cash in on the profits that come with their image and likeness being used for commercial purposes. What's your take on this?
I think that's such a strange idea because an art student is allowed to sell his or her art, and a music student is allowed to make money on the side performing concerts. And I don't see how this is really different because the college student is going to college to use his or her skills, hone his or her skills, and be part of the college community. I don't see any reason why it should change the nature of the scholarship. I mean, the student is still playing for the university. The university is getting that benefit out of what they're giving, the scholarship. And so I don't think that really changes the dynamic. I think it's a very strange thing to do. And I'm not alone because I noticed that as soon as he tweeted it, I mean, he had so many comments and retweets, and if there were a dislike button, I'm sure people would have been using it. And really, I don't think there were any fans of this idea on Twitter from what I saw. And I'm not sure if he's really going to go through with it. Maybe the backlash will have discouraged him from doing so.
Well, it'll be really interesting to follow this issue as it develops because, like we said, this is a really new direction for the NCAA to take. And hopefully it doesn't produce the negative effects of over-professionalization that we fear. But I guess time will only tell.
I'll be watching with interest for sure.
Okay, well, that's our higher ed take on the NCAA's new decision. Thank you for watching.